today. UFC Seattle is in the books, and we almost had the perfect action-packed card if it wasn't for Henry Cejudo's eye. That's right, his eye ruined the main event. All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy Matt, and we are here to go over UFC Seattle, which went down Saturday night, in which it was a sneaky good card. Tons of finishes, only a couple of decisions the entire show. And it was really building, and all we needed was a nice finish in the main event. But we could not get that as the main event was stopped, as Song Yadong went out there and defeated by decision Henry Cejudo. However, it was via technical decision because the fight had to be stopped due to an eye poke to Henry Cejudo. So, let's break this down. You know, this has been covered by a lot of different mixed martial arts YouTube pages. Shout out to Luke Thomas. He gives an outstanding breakdown of what went down with the referee. So we're not going to rehash all of that, but let's just get into it. First off, Song Yadong was winning the fight. Okay, Henry by no means was out of the fight, but Song Yadong was winning. He was putting it on Henry for the most part. Although Henry went out there in the second round, really learned to really start knocking him with that jab, and he was doing his thing. But with 1 minute left in the third round, Henry Cejudo was poked in the eye. Really, we now know after seeing the photos, you know, after the fact put out there by Henry Cejudo, terrible eye poke, really bad, really devastating. He's got like a corneal abrasion on his eye, really bad stuff. It really looks really effed up, you know what I'm saying? And at the time that it was going on, though, Henry, being the king of cringe, being a very technical analyst when it comes to mixed martial arts, you know, in his tremendous YouTube channel, he's also a coach. It looked as if while after the foul had happened, and while, you know, the referee had halted the fight, Henry gets 5 minutes to try to recover. During the 5 minutes, it looked kind of sus, as if Henry was trying to find a way that he was going to win the fight, whether it was going to go to the scorecards or if he just wanted to take a no contest. Turns out that wasn't really the case, but when you're the king of cringe, you can't fault the fans for automatically thinking that was what homie was trying to do. Now, at the end of the day, Henry Cejudo is an Olympic champion, a gold medalist. He's not looking for an easy way out. You know what I'm saying? He's not really, he might be the king of cringe in a lot of things, but he's not built like that. Nevertheless, bad eye poke. He continues past the 5 minutes. Referee restarts the fight, and he finishes up the last minute of the round, which basically he didn't do any offense at all. He just evaded Song Yadong for the last minute of the third round. Now we're going into the fourth round. In between the rounds, Henry Cejudo is making it very clear, vocalizing to his coaches, he cannot see. He cannot see. You know, he's not seeing just one song out there or just one dong. He's seeing 4 dongs coming at him at once. You know what I'm talking about? Pause. And that's always a terrible situation. You know what I mean? So Henry Cejudo is letting his corner know he cannot see. Eventually they bring in the doctor that didn't look like he knew what was going on. And the fight is called. However, but let me not leave out this part. The referee, Jason Herzog, he ended up deciding he was going to start the fourth round only to instantly call the fight, thus allowing it to go to the judges' scorecards to try to get an actual finish, I believe is what he was trying to do, as opposed to a no contest. Now, there's, you know, a little bit of, that could be litigated, you know what I'm saying? That could be talked about, and that's why I recommend you go look at Luke Thomas's video about that, as to if the referee should have went to the fourth round or just stopped it there on the stool. But nevertheless, that's what happened. because the fight was more than halfway complete, it went to the judges' scorecards, and Song Yadong ends up being declared the winner. Now, tough scene, man, for an action-packed card. The card was looking great. Like I said, it was really building. That really just took the steams out of everyone, and that was the main event. Kind of ended for a bad night. The Seattle crowd was tremendous the entire night, so that really, stuck it to them, and they have been tremendous the entire night. I mean, they were there from the opening fight of the prelims. Tremendous, tremendous fans in Seattle. But that's how the card ended. Song Yadong moves on. He did the right thing. He called instantly for the rematch when he was doing his post-fight speech. Henry Cejudo said they could run it back, although that remains to be seen. He now has a loss. He's 38 in the bantamweight division. I'm not sure if he's going to be really looking to come back and step back in there with Song. He was losing that fight to Song even before the eye poke. So we will see. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, if I was him, that's something you got to think about, because, especially if that eye is really effed up. That eye is definitely effed up, but is it permanently effed up? Is kind of what I'm saying. Who knows about that? So, who is he really signing up to go back in there again with the young buzzsaw like Song Yadong, who was really kind of, he wasn't dominating him completely, but he was definitely winning that fight. So we will see if they go ahead and sign that again. Let's move on to the co-main event, which played out exactly how I thought it was going to, where Brendan Allen in the octagon with Fluffy Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez takes the win via decision. Bro, here's the thing. This fight, as I said, played out exactly how I thought it was going to, as I'm checking my notes here on this. Because just like I called in my pre-fight breakdown for this fight, Brendan Allen, bro, his biggest problem, he's a tremendous fighter, extremely skilled on the feet as well as on the ground, maybe more so in the grappling realm. His main issue is he can never decide if he wants to strike or if he wants to grapple. He can never decide that. And so what you end up seeing is in a lot of fights where he's having his way on the feet, the homie wants to take it to the ground and grapple. And in fights where he's doing his thing and dominating on the ground, he tries to stand it up and strike again. And that's something he's really got to fix with his coaches, because he's a really good fighter and he could win a lot more fights than what he actually loses. But just in my opinion, I'm not a fighter, I'm not a coach, I'm a nobody, just a dude making YouTube videos. But from what I see, he really has a problem with that. Because, he goes out there, he had a portion of the fight where he dominated Fluffy on the ground, kept tremendous top pressure, held him down, laid on him, landed a few strikes from the top, few elbows and things. I wish he could have did a little bit more from that realm, but did really well. But also he was having his way on the feet at moments. Now, to Fluffy's credit, Fluffy actually said that he had been on antibiotics all the way up into the weigh-ins. So he was dealing with some sort of a sickness there. I'm not really sure what was going on with that. So he wasn't necessarily himself. His grappling is so outstanding. He still grappled his way to a decision win. But nevertheless, though, Brendan Allen was having his way at moments on the feet. But then he would see slight opportunities to grapple or go to the ground with Fluffy, and he would just instantly take it. And that's admirable. That's great. But with Fluffy, you don't even want to do that. If you're having your way on the feet, you need to keep it on the feet. And you need to avoid Fluffy getting this to the ground or backing you up against the cage at all costs. And I don't feel like he did that. And like I was breaking down in my pre-fight breakdown, I've seen this a lot out of Brendan Allen. I think he could have won a lot of the fights that he lost had he just been able to recognize that, hey, I'm having a ton of success on the feet. I just need to keep this on the feet. Hey, I'm having a ton of success on the ground. Let me keep it there. I think him mixing it, I just feel like once his brain is switched on to a specific style, it's hard for him to switch it off and go into another style. Whereas like a Charles Oliveira, he can strike on the feet, and then if he sees opportunity, he's going to snatch your neck. It just is what it is. And he's going to do that without a problem. That's kind of what I mean. I think he kind of has issues with the joxing back and forth between those two. Nevertheless, shout out to Fluffy Hernandez. He continues his winning streak. He moves forward. He didn't quite call for a title fight yet, but, we'll see where he lands after Khamzat Chimaev faces Dricus du Plessis. We'll see where he falls because, who knows? By the end of the day, bro, the UFC is making it clear that nowadays, man, they can't keep waiting around for the sexier, for lack of a better word, fight. They can't keep waiting around for the sexier opponent to the audience. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they just got to make these fights. And so after Dricus and Khamzat goes down, if that doesn't warrant a rematch, you might see like a fight, well, I don't even go say a fight night card because they're not going to put Khamzat or Dricus on a fight night. But you could definitely see a card where Fluffy could be slotted in to get a title shot. I mean, they did it with Khalil Roundtree against Alex Pereira, so we could see. You could see that, bro. So, nevertheless, shout out to Fluffy Hernandez. Tremendous fighter. Outstanding grappler. Even though he was weakened by being on antibiotics, he still looked tremendous on the ground. So, shout out to him. He moves forward. Great fight, too. Also, we got Rob Font. Rob Font turning back the hands of time. Goes out there and defeats Gene Matsumoto via a 3-round split decision. Shout out to Rob Font, man. He went out there, he did his thing. I didn't really think it was that controversial. I saw some people, that kind of believe, Gene should have won that fight, but I kind of felt like Rob Font did enough. Shout out to Rob Font, man. Just that veteran savvy took over. And honestly, I think from the opening bell, from round one, which, I mean, it's really drove Paul Felder insane that Rob Font touched gloves and then instantly landed a strike right after, but it kind of is what it is. It was kind of a weird moment, but, I mean, it's Rob Font, bro. Rob Font gonna get the job done, you know what I'm saying? I think really after Rob Font caught him in that opening moment, I really think that kind of, it wasn't like that really truly hurt Gene, but I feel like that just really took him off of his game plan a little bit. And by the time he got back on it, I feel like Rob Font had adjusted and was ready and prepared for him. So shout out to Rob Font, man. I didn't feel like his career was in jeopardy, but it's good to see him give his career a little bit more longevity. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't calling for retirement if he would have lost, but I was questioning if he still had it in the tank, and he does. So shout out to him, man. And also, like I talked about in my pre-fight breakdown, this could be a new mythical fighter. This is bald-headed Rob Font. This is totally different from bouffant Rob Font. You know what I'm saying? Or slick to the side Rob Font, or gentleman's cut Rob Font. Y'all need to do your homework and understand these levels of Rob Font hair. This was bald-headed Rob Font. This was a total different mythical MMA creature. So shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? We'll see where he goes. We'll see if he's able to put together a little run. Might not, but it was good to see the veteran go out there and get a big win. How about Gene Silva? How about Gene Silva goes out there and defeats Milsic Bagdasarian? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'll be having trouble with these names. Shout out to that gentleman. Bro, Gene Silva goes out there, knocks this dude out, sends him to the land of wind and ghosts. And after he had knocked him out, the referee didn't call the fight. You know what I'm saying? He didn't call the fight. And Milsic is laying on the ground kind of staring up like, what's going on? Like he doesn't understand where he's at. Referee didn't call the fight. Silva didn't want to, but he had to do it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to do it. And the homie goes in, lands a few more shots to the head, and then, because it's almost like he had mercy on him after hitting him in the face a few more times, he just finished him off with 12-6 elbows to the rib cage. Referee finally calls the fight. Look, Silva is tremendous. Silva is tremendous. And dare I say it, bro, Silva might be the guy that puts the fighting nerds over that tipping point of being everyone's new favorite fight camp. You know what I'm saying? New favorite gym. Because Gene Silva, I love everything about this dude, man. The fact that this man, even when he walks out to the weigh-ins, he walks out slow. He's kind of playing it up. I love the fact that he gets emotional at random times. Like after he makes weight, he gets emotional. He looks like he's going to cry. I love the fact that after the long walkouts to the octagon, he gets right up on Bruce Buffer. Like he's not that close, but almost nose to nose. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that he gets emotional while Bruce Buffer's announcing him. And then he's like, oh, no, I got to get serious. And then he puts on a mean face. I love all of that. I love the fact that after he wins the fight, he has like a release of just energy, and sometimes he might bark. Usually he's flexing, he's yelling, he's doing all this stuff, and then he instantly becomes humble and starts kind of tearing up and crying. I love as he's being announced as the winner, he starts tearing up and crying and gets really emotional. I loved in this one that he had on the Fight Nerd glasses, and he did his best to get Bruce Buffer to put them on, and finally succeeded. Shout out to Bruce Buffer for wearing the glasses. All of it is awesome to see. This dude is great. If he continues on his winning ways, he's going to be a star in the division if he's not already there. He's awesome. He calls out Bryce Mitchell. I'd love to see that fight. A lot of people want to see Bryce Mitchell get drugged from pillar to post all over that octagon, and I'd love to see Gene Silva be the guy to do it. Shout out to him, dude. He also won Performance of the Night with that. That was outstanding. How about Alonzo Menifield goes in there with Juicebox Walker and gets a big win? 3-round decision win. It was a slobber knocker. It was a slop fest. You know what I'm saying? It was bow and shoe ugly. It was whatever you want to pull out. That's what it was. It was a nasty, nasty fight. But at the end of the day, man, Alonzo toughed it out. He got the win. Shout out to Juicebox Walker, you know what I'm saying, Julius Walker. I think with a little bit more tenure in the cage, a few more fights, more training, I don't know if he'll ever end up, I'm not going to say it'll be a prospect, but we'll see where he could go. But, because once he got tired, his stand-up was atrocious, you know what I'm saying? But granted, you know what I'm saying, the dude was completely gassed. So we will see where he goes from there. But shout out to Alonzo Menifield. He gets the win. How about Ion Cutelaba? Ion Cutelaba, I should say, goes out there and gets a win against Ibo Aslan. Bro, here's the thing, man. Ibo has proven that if you can withstand his first few minutes of pure fury and the power he puts in his hands, you can get him up out of there. Shout out to Cutelaba. He goes out there. He gets a win, bro. He had a tremendous post-fight speech. Outstanding for him. Shout out to that. My guy, Andre Feely, took a L, got submitted by Costa. Bro, as I was having a hard time with picking a winner in this fight, I chose Andre Feely because I'm an Andre Feely fan. But, bro, Costa is tricky. He's got tricky submissions. He's got those thin arms, thin forearms. It's easy for him to slide them under the neck. He's a tremendous, tremendous competitor with ninja chokes, rear naked chokes, any type of chokes, bro. When he sinks those arms in, it's rough. Shout out to him, man. Also, I've noticed Andre Feely, he doesn't do well with submissions around his neck. And I would wonder, I don't know. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a coach or anything like that, as I've already said. But I just wonder if he has, like, neck issues or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fighters have these nagging injuries over the years, and they can withstand a lot of punishment, a lot of pain, possibly all over their body, but certain areas it might be tricky. Old injuries, different things like that. I wonder if he has neck issues outside the octagon, because I've noticed a lot of the times when fighters cinch up anything on his neck, he's usually going to tap very quickly. So, he doesn't try to tough it out at all. So shout out to Andre Philly, man. I was hoping he was going to go on a nice little win streak, but nevertheless, man, Costa moves forward. For a while it lasted, it was a pretty tremendous fight. Then we also had Mansour Abdul Malik goes in there with Nick Klein. Nick Klein did his thing in the first round, even rocked him, but Malik did his thing in the second round, got him up out of there. It was like he realized, like, look, bro, I can't be taking chances with Klein. I got to get him up out of here. And he got him up out of there. So shout out to him, man. That was awesome. Also, performance of the night bonus went to Ricky Simone as he goes out there and he defeats Javid Basharat. And here's the thing, man. He knocked out Javid Basharat. And here's the thing. I don't know if y'all noticed or saw, but, bro, Javid Basharat, when he got knocked out, his body was transported to the land of wind and ghosts, and there were wind chimes going on, ding, 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 and he was laying in a field of grass surrounded by roses and dandelions and lilies, and he's laying in the grass, and he was probably pretty comfortable in his slumber, but alas, he was knocked out in the middle of the octagon, and it took 4 or 5 referees and 4 or 5 officials to let him know where he was at, because he just kept mouthing to multiple people what happened. And I don't know if he still knows what happened, but, you know, that's two fights he's lost in a row. That's very interesting to me because I thought he was going to end up being the more talented of the two Basharat brothers, which I love both of them, both tremendous fighters. But the younger Basharat brother, he might be the one. He just might be the one, bro. You know, we kind of see the same thing with the Bonfim brothers. Both of them look like they were going to be, you know, forces in their division, but it's looking like maybe only one of them will be. So hopefully Javid Basharat can make a recovery and can get back to his winning ways, because I really enjoy that dude's fighting style. But it's two losses in a row, so we'll see if he's able to bounce back. But, man, you know, tremendous card, bro. A lot of finishes. You know, only a couple of decisions and then that terrible eye poke. Great fights, man. But overall, that was all I was going to cover on this. It's a few fights I really enjoyed. Nevertheless, man, we are moving forward. Not that good of a card later on this week, to be honest, but I'll try to bring you something about it. We might do some other content just to have a little bit of fun. But once again, I do want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.